Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Galactic Civilizations Newbie tutorial. I'm your host, ColorsFade. We're on turn number 50 in our Newbie tutorial game. The morale for our civilizations is at 67%. Our taxes are still at 25%. We're losing money, and we're almost out of money at this stage of the game. We have some things we're researching, and we're in the process of exploring our galaxy, trying to set up several constructors to mine all these resources across the planet, and we have only discovered two of the factions, the Altarian Resistance and the Iridium Corporation, and so far they both like us. You can see over here in the balance of power map graph, the Iridium Corporation is in first place, the Altarians are in second, and we're in third. You don't see the other factions that you haven't ran into yet when you're looking at that graph. You can see our ranking though overall compared to all of them. We're 9th out of 12 in production, we're 12 out of 12 in research, and we're 9 out of 12 in military rank. And that military rank is one of the things you want to keep a close eye on. We have a constructor down here that can capture 3 antimatters all in one shot, and then with the first extension module, if and when we ever get it, we'll be able to get this 4th antimatter. So I'm going to construct that starbase, add the mining ring to it, and I don't have any other upgrades, and I wouldn't have any money to spend on them anyways. Our survey ship is up here. We have several of these precursor anomalies. We put a waypoint next to them. Wormholes have showed up, but we're not going to go through any of them. So I need my survey ship to very carefully start making some money again. Oh, and he just got experience points and nothing else out of that. So we're going to be in a tight spot for cash here real quickly because we're losing 16 per turn and we only have 36 total. Good news is we should be our port of call buildings for tourism from last episode should be completing soon. So we just completed some research. There are 2 different views of this, of your research tree. You can look at it through this, but I always prefer the actual tree view. And I'm going to check out and see what last episode 2, we got interstellar tourism working, and we put some ports of calls on all of our planets. I would really like to do a couple other things here. We got commerce specialization. We just finished that for supportive population, so this gives us morale +1. You can see that it bumped our morale all the way up from 67 to 92. What higher morale does is let you move the tax slider. So we're going to move it until we're about 80% morale, and you can still see down here, even sliding it up to 35%, our net weekly income is still -12. So that's not great. What I would really like to do is there's at this stage of the game there are several technologies that I really want. I want advanced construction for the fusion power plant, and that's 3 slots away. I want to get warfare going on so I can start making weapons and defensive systems for ships, and those are really useless without zero gravity construction and medium hulls. You can make ships with small hulls from orbital manufacturing, but they're not great. And you would also like to get the ion drive, which is not that far away as far as research goes. This is a better engine for your ship so you can have more moves. So there's, at this stage of the game, there's a lot of things that I want to get, but I would really like to get this political specialization, Populist Party, for morale +5. It also gives me access to a new government, but I would not use the Stellar Monarchy. The one that I'm really interested in is down here, Interstellar Republic. We don't have to worry about it as far as colony limit goes at this stage in the game because we don't have enough planets. We're not really going over our limit, but I do like their +10 to research, and I do like their trade route diplomacy bonus. You get +2 for each trade route. You can't declare war, and the most important thing is the galactic market does become enabled with that government. So, and the other nice thing is right after diplomacy, So we need to research this and the political specialization. After diplomacy, you can get this, the economic treaty, which gives you access to a free trade agreement. You can go for the culture treaty or the research treaty, but I prefer the economic one. With the free trade agreement, what you're able to do is give that to another faction, the free trade agreement. They will get a bonus to money earned through income, and you in return will be able to get technologies from them. Or you sometimes, if you're really strapped for cash, you can just give them an economic treaty, and then it takes them a lot of money from them. The economic treaty only lasts for so many turns. I think it might be 20 turns. It might be a little more than that. So this is something you want to renew. And the other thing is, the economic treaty, in any of these treaties really, you can only give to a faction that you have a pretty good relationship with. I think you need a +3 or +4 relationship with them to do it. So at this stage of the game, with everything that I need to get, if tourism kicks in here soon, I'm not so worried about populist party, but it does become something I want to get. I really need to start looking at ships, so I'm going to go for orbital manufacturing next. No, I really want to do these two. I'm going to do this. Diplomacy 6 turns away. That's my choice. Alright, we got another new citizen, and the Galactic News Network has chose to give us some breaking news. It says the travel site Galaxia has released its list of the most stable civilizations in the galaxy. Ideal choices for any family-friendly holiday. The Altarians are number 3 on the list, and we are not anywhere on the list. We're given a warning that we're losing money at an alarming rate, and we can go in and adjust our taxes. We've already done that, so I'm going to give me a moment. We're down to 23. I have a plan. You can go in here and you can create a citizen that will boost your economy. I rarely use these. I prefer the scientists because I want my research to move along faster. So I'm going to go back here and look at, again, Ziller. The planet Ziller 2 is producing the most research at 14.6, and Earth is producing some research at 9.6. I'm going to put my new research citizen on Earth to bump it up to 12.1 for research, so it goes a little faster overall. We can go back to technology. We saw in the very first episode our research when we started out was 7 per turn, and now we're producing 34 per turn, which is good. But we're going to lose some money again on another turn. Oh, and we just ran into the third faction, the Your Singularity. So these guys can sometimes be irritating and want to go to war with you very quickly. The Your are the only completely artificial, what we call synthetic faction in the game. They're machines. They don't use food, they don't have morale problems, but they have to spend precious construction time on the planets creating population because they don't automatically mate and bear new children. We're going to open up trade with them. They're going to want open borders. They don't have any money for us to trade for, which is unfortunate. So maybe we can trade some tech for tech here. I'm going to see what I can give them. The supportive population is pretty useless to them. I never mind exchanging diplomatic reasoning with other people if I can get something good for it. He won't give me colonial engineering. He will give me militarization, but I'd have to pay extra money that I don't have. So what I'm going to do is just try and take some credits from him. Oh, and get 10 credits from him. Can I get anything else? Can I get any kind of... Can I get thulium? Nope. He won't give anything else. So this is as good of a trade as we can make. Actually, I want... Yeah, can I just... I want to see if I can bump that up. Can I go 11? I can go 11. Can I go 12? Playing a little... Nope. 11 is the best that I can go for credits. So I'm going to try to get as much as I can out of him. And that bumps us up to 24, and we'll end the turn. Let's see, so we drop down to 14. Earth has a port of call up now, and now we're earning 9.8 tourism per turn. You can see the tourism, it says 2% of 490 influence. So we have the port of call for 1%, and we're earning another 1% based on it being a capital city. And then it's all done based on your controlled parsecs. So the more your influence spreads, the faster you can earn money, and star bases and planets count for that. So you can see we control 358 parsecs, and we have 132 capital parsecs. So we have a 490 total, and we're earning 2% on that for this planet, which is great. We're very quickly going to start making money. This port of call is 7 turns away from being created. This port of call is 10 turns away from being created. This port of call is 5 turns away from being created. So we have 4 planets. If we can just survive for a few more turns. And the problem is we don't want to take a hit to morale, because of, if you go into negative income, it will significantly reduce your production, which makes those ports of call take even longer to get constructed. So we don't want that to happen. This thing here, though, is about to swallow up a capsule, and we found another precursor anomaly hidden away in the nebula. So I'm going to make a rally point, as is my habit to do, and give it the label P for precursor anomaly, and later on when I have a fleet we will go take care of those guys. But let's hope we get some money out of this capsule. Nope, just experience points, and we're going to move 1 turn closer to this space junk over here and hope we can get that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Space junk gave us 100 for our treasury, so yay, going to save us for a couple more turns until that 1 port of call is done, the one that was going to take 5 turns. Alright, back to research. We finished diplomacy. The economic treaty would take us 7 turns. I don't know that we have... You also need to be friends with a race for 20 turns before you can use any of these treaties, and I'm not sure that we have known any of those races long enough for that to be a factor. I think what I would like to do is get orbital manufacturing next, so we can get small hull sizes. 50% trade route income for 10 turns is what that sign said. I shouldn't have clicked off it so fast. I'm going to go over here. We have a chance for this golden anomaly to potentially finish a planetary improvement that's happening, and we have orange right there. This is no good. Orange is the Kryn, and the Kryn are a very hostile race. So they are religious zealots. But I'm going to creep in there. We got another 100 from the treasury. We want to avoid them. Alright, here's our planet Earth, which is completely done. We've built the Intimidation Center, which you can see gives us plus 20% morale on our planet. It provides some influence growth and another +1 morale. This is great for keeping morale. You can see our approval on our planet supports 5.2 billion people, and we have 5 billion people on the planet, and you can see how that's broken out. We're getting -10% because of the crisis. The revolution is ongoing right now. We're getting +1 from supportive population, +1 from hopeful, which is the Terran Alliance's attribute. We're getting -10% from a famine, which is an ideological event that was happening at the time, and it's still going on for a few more turns. We're getting +20% because of the Intimidation Center, and a straight up +1 from the Intimidation Center. We get +4 from Capital City, +6% from our 2 global celebrities working for the government, and -2.2 from unrest, which I'm actually not entirely sure how unrest happens. I think unrest is calculated by global population for your whole galaxy or something. We have 1 tile left that we could put a city on, but we don't have enough food. So I don't want to build anything on here. So what I'm going to do is you have access to these projects, and you will get more of these as the game rolls along. But the first 2 that you automatically get are aid economy and aid research. So in 7 turns we can get another 50 research. So I'm just going to queue up several of these until we have enough food to build a city, hopefully. So every 7 turns we're going to get 50 bonus research because of that project. We have a trade offer coming in from the Iridium Corporation. This is something that all the factions will do, is periodically they will just initiate a trade with you, and for the first half of the game they will usually try and swindle you pretty good. He will give me terraforming, which I'd really like to have, but he wants a lot of my resources, he wants some of my durantium, and he wants almost all my antimatter, more than half my antimatter. He wants diplomacy, tech, cultural exchange, supportive population, interstellar tourism, research processing, and diplomatic reasoning, and cultural influence. He basically wants all my techs for that. So I'm going to say no, thank you, and be on my way. Oh, and then here was the other thing. We got a new government because of researching that tech over here. We researched diplomacy and we have access to Interstellar Republic, so I really want to change my government now, and we've gone through the first 26 turns of the game, so we're free. We've been free for a while to change our government if we wanted to. So Interstellar Republic is a government that I really like. It's one of the first governments you can get that allow you to have a 12 colony limit. The big thing with it is bonus to research, 12 colony limit, the galactic market is enabled, and you get +2 trade route diplomacy. The disadvantage is you can't declare war. That's not much of a disadvantage for a peaceful race. So I'm going to choose that, change my government. We're stuck with it for 26 turns, which is great. You get a unique ship, the Prime Minister ship, which provides 30% to all construction, influence, and morale. I would like to stick him on a planet that is currently building something. So we're going to go look here. Zalair has only 3 more free spaces left to build, and it's currently in the process of building a protocol and an intimidation center. Earth is basically done. This planet is almost done. Mars is. And over here is Kanahui 2, which is in the process of building a bunch of stuff and is really slow about it. So Kanahui 2 would be the place to go stick our Prime Minister and make the most use of him. So we're going to send him down here, and in 6.1 turns he's going to reach that spot, and hopefully pretty soon we're actually going to start making some more money. And here is our survey ship continuing to survey. We're going to get, alright, here's, I was telling you about in the first episode about those capsules which can move things along 15%. Usually what I like to do is find something that's going to take several turns to get done and then switch it over to that. So the thing that would take the longest right now, Galactic Cruise Lines would take the longest, but I'm not in a hurry to get that. Same with Xenoarchaeology. Interstellar Government. Economic Treaty, it takes 6 turns. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch to Economic Treaty. 6 turns, we're going to go for the capsule and see if it gives us the bonus, and it does. It gave us the 15%. Now, you can see that it's moved us along and takes 5 turns. I'm going to go back to Orbital Manufacturing. So at the end of the turn, it'll do that. Alright, and the Kryn, I would assume, are up here then because they're spreading in this direction. But you can see right here all these anomalies we need to survey. As soon as I can start making some money, I can hire a survey ship from the Galactic Bazaar and start really scooping these things up. Here is one of our constructors. I'm going to try to get, there we go, we can get 1 Illyrium and 2 antimatters with him. And like all star bases, one of the great things about it is, as you can see with some of these star bases up here, they start controlling these tiles. And as we saw on Earth with the protocol for your tourism income, see, now we have 570 controlled parsecs. So your parsecs keep going up, and you're making 2% tourism off of that. It's significant. Our tourism is up now to 11.4 on this planet. It won't be long before we're going to be in positive money. Also, our morale bumped up to 90%, so I'm going to tweak this back to where morale is about 80% and boost our taxes again, and now we're a net weekly income of -5, so very, very soon we're going to be making some real money. Research ended. I want to look at my planets again real quick. I want to see which one. The protocol on Ziller 2 is 3 turns away from being done, and the protocol on Mars is 1 turn away from being done. So Mars will start earning 1% on our tiles very quickly, and the protocol over here on our 4th planet is 6 turns away from being done. So very, very close to making real money. We'll go back to research. We now have small hulls that we can make some warships with, but we don't have any weapons yet because we don't have militarization. So I'm going to do that. And again, the economic treaty is the next thing that I really want to get. I want to try to exchange that for some things. These guys, where's he going to go? There's a whole bunch of these capsules that are all worth 15%, and I kind of want to save them for something that's a little more for research that requires a lot, like medium hulls will take a lot to get. So our shipyard is idle, but we can now make freighters, we can now make trade ships. And since we switched our government over to a government that gives us a +2 diplomacy per trade ship, I'm going to make 3 of these. I'm going to change my rally point to be shipyard idle, which means that the ship, when it's constructed, will be kicked out instead of being automatically docking like all of our warships were. Our survey teams are reporting that there's a sudden spike in the number of anomalies being found. This is great because we're going to have more anomalies to survey, which means more money and the 15% capsules to push our research ahead. It's also great because this gives you an ideological choice. I like to get the missionary center from the benevolent one, but I also need to continue to push malevolent along. I don't know if we can actually get the benevolent one. I'm gonna take that 15 points though. The freighter is being launched from a shipyard with multiple sponsors. Choose its homeworld. I think you usually want to choose the homeworld that makes the most money, and Earth, you can see over on the right hand side, clearly makes the most cash. It makes 32.3 billion credits compared to 2.5, 2.3, and 7.7 for our other planets. So we're going to choose Earth every time. We're going to kick that freighter out. And because I know that you can see freighters have a greater distance because they have better life support systems. And we're pretty sure that the Kryn are over here, and they're the ones we have to worry about. So I want to trade with them and use the trade diplomacy bonus. So I'm going to send my first freighter in that direction. The Yor are warm to us, the Iridium Corporation are cordial, and the Altarians consider themselves close. There's a lot of green in all these. And so the only ones we would have to worry about would be the Kryn right now coming in touch with them. Militarization gives us access to some basic weapons like enhanced laser, the Sparrow missile, and the basic railgun. The basic railgun uses a thulium, and the Sparrow missile uses an antimatter, and the enhanced laser uses Illyrium. Early in the game like this with these first weapons, you don't have a lot of resources, and so you don't want to spend those on there, and so we would like to move up to the more advanced weapons as soon as possible. And you can get, if you research weapon systems here, you can get these cheap lasers that don't use any resources for being built. So we're going to want to go after those certainly. But first I would like to do orbital specialization. Actually, before I even do that, let's go finish this. Let's get economic treaty so we can start trading it, and then we can worry about the rest of the tech, because we can trade our economic treaty and actually get some of the tech we want to research instead. Here comes our second freighter, And the Yor are coming along and saying, we'll trade you all of this stuff, and they want to take everything from me, just like the Iridium did, so I decline that and say no. And again, there's another trade route, so I'm going to send all these freighters up into this direction. And then this guy here is going to get some treasury. Oh, and there we are. We run right into him. So we're going to open borders treaty with this guy right away. And he's kind of giving us the evil eye already. And you can see he has a load of money already, and you can see he's got quite a few techs. He's got almost the same number of techs we do, but he's got different stuff. He's got some things we'd really like to have. So, and he chose for commerce specialization gross income, whereas we chose supportive population. You can see over here it says commerce specialization. There's his commerce specialization. So we may be able to trade. We'd have to spend some money to trade it. I can give him diplomatic reasoning though. So if I give him those three things, he'll give me wealthy population in return and 10 credits. So I'm going to do that mostly so that we have open borders and we don't piss each other off. Oh, and he just put a star base down right there to grab that stuff. So it's a little disappointing. That I really want this research relic, and I need some of my ships here to get out. Get on over. I think the safest thing to do is just get him moving right there. And I'm going to take a moment to look at all my constructor ships and where they're going. I have that one going there. I have one here who ran into this spot and just docked himself. That was not anything that I want to happen, so he's been sitting there. I want to make sure that we get this planet, which requires atmospheric cleansing. Someone else is going to come colonize it for us, and I want to make sure that it flips to us. So I need to use I probably need, this is a great trick for you to know. If you set up a starbase over here and put a culture ring instead of a mining ring, you can create a really strong culture influence here and grab these tiles, and so when somebody does colonize this planet, it'll flip rather quickly. I'm concerned about somebody getting that, but I'm more concerned about resources right now. So what else do we have? We have an antimatter there. We got that. He just went and grabbed those. I'm gonna send that ship there and see what happens. Alright. And since we ran into the Kryn, we don't have to avoid them anymore. I need my little survey ship to go grab all the space junk it can. So the shipyard is done. It's made all 3 freighters, and I'm fearlessly going to send them all up here to the Kryn and hope that we can get them there and start earning the diplomatic bonus before they get angry. In addition, I need to create some ships. And so one of the things you'll notice is we were able to create these stellar bombers that had 1 missile on them. You can see it's got the yellow missile there and it says 1. They're not much of a threat and they're tiny hulls. Once you research the very first weapon tech, militarization, that ship no longer is an option to build, which I find really odd in the game, but you can't do it anymore. You just can't build it anymore. So it's out of the question. So now you have to build ships. If you want some more ships, you have to build ones that are using resources. Well, we only have 10 thulium and we have 8 Illyrium, but we have 33 antimatter. We have a lot of antimatter. This is an antimatter heavy map, so it would be okay for us to build a couple of these small escorts and prototype bombers. These are right here. These are small hulls compared to the tiny hulls. They have more hit points, 36 compared to 25. So I'm going to create some defenders. And you can see for each ship I queued up, it used some antimatter and it dropped our antimatter down to 27. I'm going to reset the rally point on the shipyard so that these ships automatically dock in there. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them on the shipyard, and then what I'm going to do with all the rest of these is eject them onto Earth and use them as a defense force for Earth. And then we're going to take a look, and we're going to see that the Iridium are in the balance of power number 1. We're dead last right now, and that's okay. Out of the 5 factions that have revealed to the galaxy, ourselves plus 4 more. We've got another new citizen. So we can train a diplomat if we want to now, because we uncovered that with our research last time. And diplomats, I will show you in the screen. If you go to diplomacy and you click on a race like this, you have room to place 4 assigned diplomats, and each diplomat is going to basically create a +1 bonus to try to make a faction like that friendlier toward you. We might be, you can see right here what pluses and minuses are. We have an open borders treaty which counts for 1. I am no threat to him because we don't have much for an army, so he considers that a bonus. We're skilled in diplomacy because of the diplomacy bonuses that we've chosen so far in our research. He wants to conquer the galaxy, so that's a minus. We have artifacts. He doesn't like that. We're mining things like research relics and ascension crystals. And then we're ripe for conquest because we don't have enough strong ships, so that's also a hit. So I could take my citizen and I could do a diplomat and I could assign a diplomat to him, but I'm actually going to choose a scientist because I would just rather research things faster. And Earth is producing more research now than Ziller because of population and this building over here that has a +2 bonus. So I'm going to bump Earth up even more with an additional 30%, and now it's producing 20.8 research. The Iridium want to make another trade with us, and again they want to take everything for nothing, so we don't worry about that. We hope that our fleet of trade ships will get up to the Kryn soon. You can see up here you get notifications from time to time about various things going on. For instance, we're being notified that we need more administrators so we can build more star bases. The Iridium Corporation has changed to a colonial government. That notification screen is something very important to keep your eye on. We're going to earn some treasury dollars by surveying a few things. And now you can see we're finally making some money. Net weekly income of 2.1. If we go to Zillir and look at our tourism income, we're earning 1% over 766 tiles now. Our empire is growing. And if we look at Earth, we're earning 2% over that same 766 tiles. Mars is now earning 1% over 766, so they're earning. And Kanahui is the only one, and their port of call will be up next turn, so we'll get more money. So we're doing really good now. We're going to make some money. Our trade routes will bring in a little money, but it's not that big of a deal. It's more for the diplomacy bonus with the Kryn. The Style magazine has released its tally of the galaxy's most influential civilizations. And so some civilization is 10, then Iridium, Kryn, Altarians. We're not on the list. We got our economic treaty. That's huge. Now we can start using that to trade with the other factions for things. Interstellar governance. This would be really good because it would give me 3 more administrators right now, and it would unlock the way toward the morale bonus that we want. But I also need medium hulls, and it's going to take 12 turns to get them after we go through storage maximization. So I always choose anything that shrinks components or creates more storage on my ships. It is the best tech to have, and then you can usually trade for some of these other specialty choices. So we're going to go for storage maximization, and then now that we have the free trade agreement, we're going to see who we can actually trade with. So you see up here, if you hover over it, it says you must know the other civilization for at least 20 turns. You've known them for 16, so we can't use a free trade agreement on them for 4 more turns, but we met the Altarians first, so we can use it with them. Give 25% bonus to the wealth of both civilizations through the sharing of markets. As of the last time any of us ever checked playing this game, this is not true. It gives them a 25% bonus, but you don't get a 25% bonus. Just them. I wish it was both, but as far as anybody can tell, it's not both. The big thing is you can get tech. So we can go in here and we can say, alright, what do we want? There's a whole bunch of stuff we'd really like to get. Environmental engineering would be great. Extreme colonization. Interstellar logistics, that's a really important one. Terraforming. Defense systems. Planetology, let's see, how many things will she give us here? Oh, she won't give us that much. She'll give us defense systems, though. I'm going to take 3 things from her and some money for a free trade agreement. We'll accept that. She's the one who's known the longest. You can go up here to, let's see, back to diplomacy. You can go to your treaty details and see what's going on. So our free trade agreement is going to last for 50 turns, and we got all these texts from her. You can always see how long your open borders are going to stay. We have 24 more turns before open borders goes away with the Altarian resistance, and then we'll want to re-up that as soon as possible. 35 turns for the iridium, 39 for the ore, and the crin 50. We don't have any weekly revenue from treaties, nothing like that. Those are really hard to make, to say give me so much money every week, and it kind of pisses the other race off, so that's why those things usually don't happen. The United Planets, no chairman has been selected. The United Planets happens when the majority of races have come in contact with each other, and you can see who's leading the votes right now. It'd be the Kryn. We wouldn't get elected as chair. Oh, actually the Arcs would. So if you're the UP, you can make some resolutions that affect the whole galaxy, and some of them are good and some of them are bad. Some of them are useful, I guess. Not really bad, but what I really want to do very quickly. Oh, so he grabbed the rest of those there. Okay. So what that means is this constructor of mine here is not going to get that Illyrium. It's just going to get this research relic by itself. But there's a black hole over here, I think, and we may be able to get some antimatter with it. But all of these anomalies are capsules, and they can all boost our research by potentially 15%. So I want to get to medium hull, zero gravity construction, medium hulls, so I can push that 13 turns along really quick by grabbing these. Oh, and we ran into the Slin. Now, in the very first episode of this tutorial series, when I was setting up the galaxy, I incorrectly called these guys a synthetic race. They're not a synthetic race. They're a silicon-based race. They don't use food to grow their races, and they don't need food to make cities. Instead, they eat durantium. So we're going to open up trade with him. We're immediately going to go open borders with him, and we're going to see what he has for trade. I never mind giving people diplomatic reason and diplomacy if they'll give me something in return. He'll give us weapon systems, which I'd really like to have. And so I'm going to pay 76 on top of that, open borders, and give him these 2 techs because I want weapon systems, and that saves me 3 turns of research. Oh, it's almost enough. He needs a little more cash. Will 80 work? What about this? Oh, so 88 will work, it looks like. Yep, okay. So we're going to do that. So now we have another one on board. Now we are in stage 2 of our crisis, the revolution. The revolutionaries that show up for your meeting are publicly executed. Your police adopt equally draconian measures, and soon friends and family members are reporting on each other in an attempt to avoid your justice. This is because we chose the malevolent check last time. You're about to launch an inquisition to gather all the suspects when your police commissioner comes forward, reveals himself as the leader of the revolutionaries, and offers himself if you will show mercy to the revolutionary members. Alright, so here are our checks. These are your chances of succeeding, basically. Um, we have a 22% chance of taking the malevolent route and winning. We have a 16% chance of pragmatic. We have a 10% with a benevolence check. I'm going to choose the 10% benevolence check because we don't really have any chance of any of this working. So, and then we have our idle ship there. So he's going to swallow this artifact, gain 100 treasury points. And then I'm going to pause. You can hit your space bar, and if the ship has remaining moves, the moves will be just ignored. And then you can go to your turn. So I'm going to ignore that turn because I'm waiting for the research to finish so he can gobble that stuff up. Another random ideology event. I told you earlier in this episode I'd really like to get one thing unlocked under Benevolent. It gives you access to a missionary center. It's a planetary improvement that does very nice for influence, and it synergizes quite well with the port of call. This will also give us 10% diplomacy if we choose this, so that's what I'm going to do. We still don't have enough ideology points in Benevolent. We have 37 to spend, and I want this one right here, Eminence, and I need 40 to buy it. So we have 37, I need 40 to buy, we need 5 more. We need 3 more technically, but they come in 5. So this ship is still sitting here. It's going to take me 2 more turns for storage maximization, so I'm just going to press the space bar. There go the Slin right by us. So we failed the revolution, and the global effect is minus 10% approval for 25 turns. Our ship's going to stay idle. He's offering us 3 armor spice for thulium, diplomacy, cultural exchange, and some money. Armor spice is used to create epiphanies, which is great, but we don't have to buy it from him, and we don't have to give him anything because of this. Our government gives us access to the galactic market, which lets us buy and sell precious resources. We could buy 1 armor spice right now for 1,000. So it probably would have been a better idea to take his deal, but that's okay. The only resources that show up in this list are ones that are being mined by someone in the galaxy. For every one that they mine, 1 shows up in the galactic market, which is why the prices are driven down on things like Illyrium and antimatter, because they're abundant in the galaxy right now, and why things like armor spice and Monsantium deposits are expensive. And so if you ever come into the galactic market and you're looking for something and it's not here, that's why, is because nobody's mining it yet. But the galactic market can be a really powerful tool for finishing certain kinds of improvements when you need, or doing something like an epiphany. For instance, I'll show you what I mean by epiphany. If you go into a science and you want to promote them, you can choose Epiphany. It's grayed out right now because we don't meet the requirements. We don't have any Promethean, and we don't have any armor spice. But if you had 20 Promethean and 2 armor spice, you could Epiphany them. They will complete the current research, which is great when you're researching something really expensive like fleet logistics, which takes 53 turns. You just click on it, go Epiphany your scientist, and you're done. Alright, 1 more turn here. So we finished that research. He says our open border treaties have reduced tensions greatly. Great. We're going to go to research, and now I'm going to show you how I do this. Zero gravity construction is going to take 14 turns for us to research, but we can speed that along considerably if these capsules give us the 15% bonuses. They have a chance, they don't always. So here we go. We didn't get that there, we just got the experience points. So we're going to go down here and grab this one. We didn't get that, we just got a little bit of money. So we'll send him on his way over to those. And then we'll come down here. See, we have a Monsantium deposit, and right now anybody else in the galactic market, this would cost them 1,000. We can sell it when we start mining it. If we go to sell, well, we'll figure out what it sells for, but it should sell pretty good if we want to use some to make some money. Monsantium deposits are very valuable because they are used for certain things. So we go back to the colony. I would like to save this tile up here for the missionary center when we get it from the benevolent ideology choice. I would like to save this tile here for a city, and I would like to save this tile here for a fusion power plant, and I would like to build around it, but we don't have any terraforming yet, so I'm going to do the Monsantium mine, which will take 14 turns. This ship is over here, and I'm going to grab that research relic. That's why I wanted to put him over there, and that's all there is the research relic, so it's the best I could do with him. And I don't have any Promethium yet, which is really going to cramp my style in this game. We haven't discovered any on the map, which is just kind of insane. Like, that's never happened. I've never had that happen. Highest approval rating yet gives us a bonus 450 credits. That's nice. You can see we're making 7.3 per turn now, and we have over 1,000 credits, which is great. I'm going to go to the Galactic Bazaar here and look and see if I have additional survey ships available to me. I do. This one is fast. It has 11 moves, so it can help gobble up some of those capsules with the 15% bonus, so I'm going to hire him, and I'm going to see if I can speed some research along here. He still is just getting experience points. This happens to me a lot, by the way, where I'm really hoping to get the 15% bonuses, and I just can't. This guy gets 11 moves, and he just gets experience points. Just going to come over here. It's going to collect 100 for the treasury, and that's going to be the end of that turn. We are scheduled for an election, and we're going to win in a landslide because our morale has been really good. It's back up to 88%. If it crosses 90, I'll increase taxes. Experience points is all we're getting. Sometimes it's just the luck of the game. Let's see what I have down here. Oh, I have a precursor that I didn't put a rally point around. So I'm going to do that for later. This guy can get up here. It's got a lot of moves. 11 moves is great. The shipyard is idle. You can see we built some of these small escort defenders, and now the shipyard's idle and not doing anything. If we go check out our military rank, we've moved up from, I think we were 10 or 11 before, to 8. So I'm going to create some more of those ships because we're back up to 39 antimatter. So I'm going to create a few more of these. Oh, we've got an improved ship now. It has 6 beam defense shield on it. You can see that there. It's got 3 deflectors on it because we traded for the defense tech from someone. At some point in time, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start making my own custom loadouts. I don't actually design my own ships, the look and shape of them, but I do like to load them out myself because when you get to medium hulls, you'll do a better job than the AI will. And I'll show you how we'll do that. It'll probably be the next episode. This guy finally got all the way over here, but it's kind of pointless because the Kryn gobbled all that stuff, so I'm going to use him to do some exploring with and hope he doesn't run into a pirate ship. We got another new citizen. I would like to have an administrator. I would like to have some more capacity, but I'm going to hold on to that for a second and go check something else out. Our research. I wanted to do interstellar governance to give me 3 more administrators, but yeah. So I think that's what we're going to do, is change this as make him an administrator. We need to find Promethean. So I'm going to go back down to my shipyard, and before I make all these defenders, I'm going to kick out some more constructors. And I'm going to set the rally point to shipyard idle so they kick out. And then we're going to continue on with zero gravity construction. There we got 15%. So that boosted it. So we'll get medium hulls really quickly. hopefully. We're down to, we only need three turns remaining to get the medium hulls, which is great. We're going to get a trade offer from him. He wants to give us armor spice, 2 Promethean, terraforming. In exchange, he wants some durantium, thulium, 2 of our xanthium deposits, and a whole bunch of tech. We're not going to give him that, but free trade agreement. We can't trade with him for another 8 turns. You could see right here our current relations with him are -2, so that's not good. And so the more negative your relationship with someone, the more lopsided the trades tend to be in their favor. So I don't like to trade with people until we have good relations. Here is something else. Exploration treaty. You can only do this with one other faction, and then it's bound for the terms of the treaty, however many turns it is, 20 or 50 or whatever it is. But these other factions will typically pay for it quite well. If we go with an exploration, you can see everything that they have uncovered from their fog of war, and they can see all your stuff too. It's a good way to get some tech from somebody. I would rather give him a free trade agreement, but we can't because our current relations are at 2. I could gift him something to try and bump that up, but I'm not going to. I could give her an exploration treaty. So one of the things, if I'm going to use an exploration treaty, is I want to go with someone who's kind of uncovered a lot of fog of war. She has 5 colonies, and he has 6. I'd probably get to see a lot with his. I can't give him a free trade agreement because we haven't known him long enough, and I can now give the Yor a free trade agreement. So we'll do the Yor right now and see if we can get some tech from him. Colonial engineering, soil agreement, that'd be great. He doesn't have any Promethium either. And xenocombat techniques to get a general. How much would we have to pay for that? If I give him diplomatic reasoning and diplomacy, we can do that, and he'll give us some credits. So that's a pretty fair trade. 25% bonus, 2 techs. I'm going to get my first terraforming tech, and I'm going to get the general for invasions, which is really important. So we're going to do that. I'm not going to do the fog of war trade yet because I'd really like to trade with the Kryn, and we're still a long ways from making that happen. These ships are so far away. We have to get our trade ships up there. So we're going to see if we can get... Oh, and now we've ran into the Drengen. Darn, they say, so you're a human. We appreciate the hyperdrive technology. We would like to thank you over dinner. So we can't go, it says we can't go with open borders because we need to know him for at least 1 turn. So on the next turn we definitely want to do that. The Drengen are one of the 2 or 3 most hostile races in the game and the quickest to go to war. The only ones that I think are faster to go to war are the Snathi. We're in a good position with them though. They only have 3 planets and they don't have much for techs that we don't already have. So next turn we'll get an open border treaty with them. Oh, and I'm going to put another rally point down next to this anomaly up here for later on when we take a fleet around. Beware turns. Ports of pirates. Alright. So I'm going to go into diplomacy since that was the end of the turn. I'm very quickly going to try to get open borders with him to help ease some of the strain. He won't, even for 10 credits, he considers that unacceptable. That's how hostile he is already. So we're just going to give him open borders and hope that it eases some of the tension. You can see the reasons. Your skill in diplomacy, that's the only positive. We want to conquer the galaxy, and you have artifacts. It makes him mad. These guys are unfriendly, but at least they're not hostile. So there's that. And here is one of our first new constructors that have spit out, and I still have some antimatter in my own backyard that I haven't acquired yet, and I also have these planets over here, you can see our influence is starting to grow over here, so we're almost guaranteed of getting that planet without using a starbase. I would also like to continue to put starbases around Earth to make the production better, but at this point in time it seems like not having resources would be a big mistake. And there's a great one up here. There's a culture relic and an ascension crystal. The culture relic will help you grab more space tiles. So, and there's some antimatter up here. So I'm just going to send everybody up in this direction. And then this video is approaching an hour. It's quite long. Our zero gravity construction is at 4 turns, and we just pushed it along considerably with that 15%. And we'll see if we can push it along for the final poke right there, and that did it. So that gives us medium hulls, which is really great. Now we can make some actual decent warships. I also need ion drives. So as I was speaking about earlier, whenever you have to choose one of these specializations when it comes to ships or weapon, I always choose miniaturization tech. So this reduces the mass of colony and constructor modules for support module mass. I like to choose those, but for interstellar travel, the best one is actually hyperdrive specialization moves. But we're going to choose this, and then we're going to trade for hyperdrive specialization because we know somebody else has it. And more of these constructors being spit out. I think I made like 5 of them, so we're going to want to move them up there. Here come the Iridium with another ridiculous trade, and we're just going to say no, but he wants the exploration treaty though. So I'm going to go round and see who I can make an exploration treaty with. I want to do it with a Kryn, but I need 6 more turns before I can do it, so we're going to wait on that from him. These guys, this is our ship that can go a long ways. I'm going to scoop down here and get that. Okay, so this is another intrigue crisis type of thing. Questionable senator. One of our senators has been accused of accepting bribes from a pirate collective. There is no evidence of criminal activity, and he denies the charge, but the public demands action. I needed 5 more benevolent points to get the missionary center, and this would give me an additional plus 10 morale for 10 turns. So we're going to choose that. The Yor are letting us know they've preemptively claimed all the cultural relics of the precursors. This is just one of those messages that periodically crops up to let you know you're not alone in the universe. But the big thing is I wanted this benevolent ideology choice. You're not stuck with just one ideology choice, even though by the time this game comes to an end I will have picked mostly malevolent choices. You saw in the first game my first choice was pragmatic. All the rest of the choices after that were malevolent, but I made enough benevolent choices to get this eminence. This gives you a missionary center. It earns benevolent ideology point every 10 turns, but more important, it's a really nice improvement to have that goes really well with the port of call. Benevolent has some really nice trees. The outreach tree is really good. You get a free colony ship. You get a free 10 class 10 planet. All new colonies start with 2 extra population. That probably needs to be moved up. You get extra tiles for your planets, and at the end you get a class 16 planet. And then the bottom one, enlightenment, these are all research bonuses, which are great. But I'm going to choose the missionary center for right now so that I can start earning some benevolent ideology choices. I'm going to go to Earth, and we now have terraforming, our first piece of terraforming, the soil engineering. So what I would like to do is put the soil engineering down next to the port of call so that I can put the missionary center down next to it. You can see the missionary center grants +2 for adjacency bonuses. It's +2 to influence, approval, or tourism, so that's why you want to put it next to the port of call and level your port of call up and help it make more money. It also gives you a +25% to influence growth. So I'm going to put the soil engineering. The only tile that it will let me engineer right next to the protocol is that one. So I'll do that, and then I'm going to push it all the way up to the top. I'm going to take these researches off here. Because I don't need these projects anymore. I don't need to kill time. I need the soil engineering, and then I'm going to need the missionary center. Oh, I don't want to put it there though. I can't put it up until the soil engineering is done. So we'll do the soil engineering first. And same thing with our other planets. We can get soil engineering here on Mars. The intimidation center is 8 away, but again, I can't soil engineer next to the port of call, but I can put one right here, and this will be a great spot for a fusion power plant. I can soil engineer on this planet, and I could do it next to the port of call there, so I'm going to. And in fact, I'm going to make that pop up before the intimidation center. I'm going to prioritize it because right now approval on this planet is 100%, so the intimidation center isn't totally necessary, although we would like it to get it as soon as possible so it can start earning malevolent points. And then over here, same thing. We have, remember I saved this tile because I was hoping to get the missionary center, so we're going to put the missionary center there. It's going to take a long time to build it. And then soil engineering, I had talked earlier in I think the first episode about how I wanted to soil engineer around this spot and build a manufacturing wheel. So we can put soil engineering there. And that takes care of those. Alright, I don't like to make videos this long. This has been an hour, but I'm hoping now with episode 3 of the tutorial you're picking up a lot more of the game and understanding how we progress through it. We have run into 2 hostile factions now, and we want to be prepared to go to war against them. So that's what episode 4 will be doing, is getting ready. Our first order of business in getting ready was to get these transports of ours up in this direction. And in fact, there is one more precursor relic that I need to flag with a rally point right there. And so the Kryn are way up here, and we're really far away from them, and our poor little freighters only move 4 moves at a time. We probably should have waited to make freighters until we had better engines, but that's where we're at. So I will see you all on the next episode of this, and we will go over some preparations for war and other things. And I hope you're enjoying the series, and I hope you're getting a lot out of it if you're a new player, and I'm hoping that it's going to help you win some games. Thank you for watching.